Okay, so if you are a fan of Star Wars CCG or have played Star Wars CCG in the past, and are also a fan of the Rebels cartoon series that was out, I don't know, it's probably been like 5, 6, 7 years ago now, I suppose. Got kind of a special thing for you guys. I also enjoyed the Rebels series, so it's part of the reason I played this deck. But so we got so I'm making my second video about virtual cards, and I guess the big reason I'm doing this is yesterday we had the Bestman Regionals tournament here in the Minneapolis-St. Paul area, and I managed to, win the tournament, which was pretty fun. There was 20 people at our regionals tournament here, which is it's a very good number for for like a kind of a small Star Wars CCG tournament. Twin Cities here has a lot of players. Got Mark Walseth, who's kind of a local legend when it comes to Star Wars CCG. So anyway, it was pretty fun, and if you've watched my videos before, you know that I really play the retro formats, meaning like the original, just Decipher created cards. So like with this Phoenix Squadron stuff here, these are Players Committee created virtual cards. So since Decipher lost the license and the game ended it being printed in 2002, the Players Committee has been continuing the game, continuing big events, continuing new cards. So like this is a virtual card. The really nice thing about virtual cards is you can just go to the Star Wars CCG Players Committee website, just like print them off, and like for official events like this tournament, the bottom of the slip, you just print the slips off and cut them out, and the bottom of the slip will say, see it says Local Uprising there. So that's the card that you're supposed to use. You just put the card in the sleeve and then put the slip in the sleeve on top of it, of course, and just play the cards, and then you just play things in your deck like you don't know the difference at all. It's kind of a slick little thing that they did, so it's very, very convenient for playing in-person stuff. So anyway, I'm going to go over this deck that I played yesterday. This is my light side deck. I want to make a video on my dark side deck too. I really enjoy my dark side deck, but I also want to talk a little bit more about just kind of Star Wars CCG for a quick second. While I'm doing that, might as well open this starter deck and see what we got in here. It'd be sweet to get some minty Premier Limited cards, like a Darth Vader or something like that. It's super fun to, like I say, get some minty stuff to send in for grading. Oh man, I'd love to get like a PSA 10, like Darth Vader. That'd be awesome. There was a PSA 10. Oh geez, that was not the best for not damaging cards there, but there was a PSA 10 Premier Limited Stormtrooper that was sold on eBay like a couple weeks ago for like $90 or something like that, I want to say. Anyway, I was very interested in the card, but not at that much. So okay, so the other things, there's been a lot of competitive Star Wars CCG going on. There really always is. And GEMP, the online way to play it, is really kind of the hot spot for it. But we just got done with the Premier to Death Star 2 Retro League. I managed to get third place in that. I went 5-1. And I'll probably have some videos there coming up with the light side deck that I played 2 of the 3 games. Was Throne Room Mains, and I've made videos on Throne Room Mains decks in the past, so if you want to check those out. I have not made a video about the dark side deck that I played, and that went 3-0, and it's just a really strong deck, almost too strong potentially. So anyway, let's look at our cards here. But yeah, Premier Death Star 2 is it's super competitive these days. I mean, it's been really fun to see, like, I hope that's minty sense. That'd be, the bottoms look a little rough on these. So, but anyway, Premier Death Star 2 has definitely gotten like super competitive. You can't just jump into Premier Death Star 2 right now and expect to win at all. Like, a lot of very good players that are taking things very seriously when it comes to the Premier Death Star 2. Okay, so I'm a little bit confused here. I thought my R1s are supposed to be the last 2 cards, but I definitely know that the last two cards of this top group, these are definitely not rare. Well, Just Star Planets could be, but the TIE Advance is definitely not. All-around fingering? I don't think so. Oh gosh, I'm really confused now. Anyway. That's weird. TIE Advanced 1 is definitely not a rare. That's weird. I'm gonna have to figure that out, look into this a little bit. So anyway, I guess we know I definitely did not get a Vader or a main character, so that's too bad. Gosh. Is the light side Alderaan, is that a rare? I feel like it might be. One of the Alderans is a rare. Huh. We got like, this is the top one and the bottom one, the rares? I don't know. Anyway, let's move on. Nothing too exciting there. Okay, so let's get back into the deck here. Okay. All right, so 0 Hour. Nice thing about 0 Hour is it's not too hard. It's not terribly hard to flip, and your opponent kind of has to come to Lothal in order to stop you from flipping. So it's pretty sweet in that it makes resistant characters and resistant starships deploy +1, so you can still play them if you want to. They just deploy for more. And then you got, the characters from the Rebels series are all Phoenix Squadron, and then you can deploy a Lothal site. And then you flip this card if Rebels control 3 Lothal locations, or you occupy 3 Lothal locations with Phoenix Squadron characters, and opponent controls no Lothal locations. So when you flip, it's really powerful. So if you drain at a battleground site this turn, battleground this turn, your other force drains and battlegrounds are +1s. So that's like huge. Like if you can force drain at 3 locations, you're gonna be doing a lot of damage. So your opponent is kind of like, they kind of always have to be playing against you to try and stop you from controlling many sites. But at the same time, you're probably spreading a little bit thin, and they might come at you sometime. Usually they're gonna come at you where you've got like a weak location or something. And then once per turn during battle, you may add or subtract X from a just drawn battle destiny or weapon destiny, where X equal number of battlegrounds you occupy with Phoenix Squadron characters. So yeah, you can subtract, or you can subtract 3, 4 a lot of the times from your opponent's destiny, or even weapon destiny draws, or add that to your own destiny draws. So pretty serious. And then you flip this card if opponent controls more Lothal locations than you. So yeah, once you flip, again, very powerful. So you start the game with the Lothal system. Hera deploys -1 here, and then you can go get this interrupt right away called This Is My Ship, and that interrupt helps you get out Hera and Ghost, the Phoenix Squadron ship. And then the location that everybody's going to start with is the Lothal Jedi Temple. Gives you 3 force, gives your opponent 1 force. One nice thing about playing the 0 Hour objective is that your force generation tends to be pretty good. And like this has a little built-in thing here that makes it, you can see there, opponent, as long as you're not occupying this location, Vader may not deploy here, and your opponent's characters, vehicles, to starship deploy and move to there for +2 force. So it kind of helps helps your opponent from being able to get on there right away. We got our starting interrupt, the 3 effects. Phoenix Squadron Operation. Chopper, Sabine, and Zebra deploy -1, which is nice. And then once per turn, you can deploy Malachar, Mandalore, Sealos systems, or Chopper, Wedge, Zeb, or an A-Wing to a Lothal location. So you can, one nice thing about this deck that I also like is that you can kind of get by with not a lot of cards in your hand, because there's different ways of being able to deploy stuff. We got Walkling. Main thing is, gives you a +1 force generation each turn. All right, so my twist on this deck, there's a lot of ways to play the 0 Hour objective with kind of the main Phoenix Squadron characters, but then your other characters are kind of like a big choice that you have to make. My version, if you've seen my decks, what do I love? I love T-47s and I love AT-ATs. So I'm playing there's a strong version of this deck that plays T-47s, and that's what I'm playing. So this is the virtualized squadron assignments. Just like the original version of this, you can reveal to go get a matching pilot to their matching starfighter, but What this one does is you may reveal an unpiloted Red or Rogue Squadron starfighter or vehicle from hand to take its matching pilot character from reserve deck and deploy both simultaneously. So you can do this with the Rogue T-47s and their pilots. So yeah, that's what we got. We got the starting effect that is for the defensive shields. And then, yeah, so let's get the meat of the characters. We got 2 Kanans in here. Kanan is super good. I hardly ever got, I think I only played him once yesterday in the tournament, and I still did well, which is kind of surprising. But best thing with Kanan is whenever you deploy a Phoenix Squadron, well, most of the Phoenix Squadron characters, you can draw the top card of your used pile. So he really, you get him out right away, and he really beefs up your hand and how many cards you've got. So 2 of him, he's really strong. We've got Ezra. The nice thing about Ezra is that he lets you retrieve a Phoenix Squadron character once per game. So that's kind of nice. Of course, he's power 4, ability 5. 2 of him. We got 1 Sabine. We got a Zeb. And we got a Chopper. Chopper's good on the ground and in space. And then, of course, we got Captain Hera. And she is really good with you. Pretty much, you have to put her on Ghost. Yeah. And then I got some other characters in here. We got Ahsoka, who she is just good. The old school Lando Calrissian scoundrel, also really good. And of course, most all these guys are rebels to help you flip. We've got a Leia Rebel Princess. And then we've got a couple of cards that are just so good, even though they're not rebels and they're not Rogue Squadron. Just gotta play them. We got Rey, who is just kind of a busted card, really. So got to put one of her in here. And then Poe, and Poe is just ridiculous when he's piloting anything. So totally worth it to have in here. All right, so then we get into the Rogue Squadron stuff. So they virtualized Commander Luke, which means this bottom half here is completely new. The Players Committee made it, and this is such a cool looking card. Commander Luke, but the original Commander Luke was just terrible, unplayable, which is kind of the nice thing. The Players Committee is able to take some of these sweet looking cards and make them actually playable. So he's awesome when he's piloting Rogue One. It's maneuver +2, and Luke draws 2 Battle Destiny if they're unable to otherwise. So him on Rogue One, just him in Rogue One is kind of crazy. And then of course once during your control phase, you may use 1 force to go get a speeder or a card with T-47 and game text. So very strong. And then we got Zeb. So my collecting things lately have been some of these Hoth cards. They're playable. So I managed to get myself a Zeb Zaneska Japanese version. Wedge Antilles, Red Squadron leader. So even though this is the Red Squadron version, I feel like it's better than there is a wedge that is specifically for piloting Rogue, is T-47, but this one is just better because when he's with another Rogue Squadron pilot, he cancels the Battle Destiny. So huge. Then we got Hobby, and there is, I don't know, basically he's in there just to pilot Rogue 4. So, there's Rogue 4. So get in. Then we got the T-47. So we got Rogue 4, Rogue 1, Rogue 3 wedges, and then Rogue 2 Zebs. And the nice thing is, again, you get those pilots or the T-47. You can get them out. Because of that Phoenix Squadron effect, the nice thing is you can deploy. If you can deploy a T-47 and their matching pilot, you can You can also deploy Wedge to Lothal, so you can get one of those pilots and their T-47 down, and then Wedge too cancels the Destiny, and that's just kind of very powerful. We got Blue 11, which is just a good combat vehicle. It has some immunity to attrition. Plus, you can go get Leia Rebel Princess aboard. All right, and we got some of the effects. So the Echo Base Garrison. Deploy on your table, T-47s are immune attrition less than 6 if matching pilot aboard. So that's basically why that's in here. And then you can take the Hoth Luke. Unfortunately, the special edition Zeb Wedge is not the one we've got in here, or a Zeb or Hobby into your hand. So helps you go get those guys. Okay, so then the best card in the new Virtual Set 21, grappling hook, and I have 3 of them in here. And they're just, it's never bad having these out. It's like the players committee I think they must have finally decided that there's just like so many overpowered used interrupts. They had to do something about it. So they made some revisions to the grappling hook. So now it grabs, you put Imperial Barrier's lost interrupt, and then if no cards you may stack an interrupt, just play here. Play a new interrupt, the same name, player must first stack it here. So it takes away a lot of those used interrupts that are just ridiculous. You got an Unite, lets you get the top card of your lost pile. This is my ship. This is one that lets you play Ghost and Harris simultaneously for -1 force each. And you can go get that at the beginning of the game with the lawful system. This is our Rebellion. Helps you draw cards, or you can draw peek at X cards, which is X is equal to the number of lawful sites, and then take one into hand and shuffle your reserve deck. Really strong card. Ascension Guns. Let you, as long as an opponent's character is at one of your locations or one of your sites, your location. You peek at top 2 cards of your reserve deck and you take one into hand. Nice thing is the other one goes back on the top of your deck, so you can take the low destiny number 1 and put the take that into your hand and put the high destiny number back, which is awesome. This card helps you go get Sabine. This card, cancel and redraw just on destiny, or you can add 3 to one of your destinies. You're tracking us. Add or subtract 1 opponent's just draw destiny. Also see cancels. Overwhelmed, I guess, is about the main thing that cancels, but you got a blaster deflection and a dodge. So sometimes when you get a Kanan or you get Ezra down at a site by themselves, one of these is handy to have in your hand in case somebody tries to come at you. This helps you go get Han Chewie and the Falcon. Shuffle your opponent's deck, or it does some other things too. Cancels Imperial Barrier is kind of nice. Signal helps you go get one of those effects you got. Perimeter Scan helps you get you can play an extra defensive shield, which is nice because the effects you start with don't really help with anything, so you're kind of want as many defensive shields as you can have. So, and they got 2 escape pods and a Hoojix. Escape pod and We're Doomed helps you go get a Dejaric like the Hoojix, but then it also does some things. There's a lot of these cards on here like Cloud City Occupation, Rebellious Occupation, Tatooine Occupation. That thing's operational. You'll be dead that do damage to you. So this used interrupt will prevent you from taking damage from those cards, and that's become more powerful as those cards are becoming more popular. This is a cool Admiral's Orders that helps you as long as you occupy a system, you can deploy a combat vehicle from your reserve deck. So that's a nice little Admiral's Order to have in your deck. My space package, Han Chewie and the Falcon, Ghost. Ghost is really your strongest ship, Ghost and Hera with some other pilots on there. Do have Leia's Resistance Transport in here just because it can help you you play that and then you can go get Rey on it for free. I got 3 lawful sites, and then I've got Mandalore because that one effect lets you go get Mandalore and deploy Mandalore, so it helps with your 4th generation. So yeah, fun deck to play. I really enjoy playing it. I like the Phoenix Squadron characters. But yeah, and it does really well. I mean, the only deck I did lose one game with this deck, and that's because I played against an Agents of the Black Sun deck, and there's just no way I can beat that deck because the vehicles version of this, their blasters will target vehicles, so that's a real issue. Anyway, yeah, give it a try, have fun. May the Force be with you.